What's up, PC gamers? Welcome to the top 5 best graphics cards for December of 2014. Let's get right into this with number 5. I went with the MSI R7 260 1GB video card. Very good video card from MSI. This is an $80 GPU, so if you're expecting to run games at 1080p max settings with this card, no, that's not what this is for. But this is really good for those of you that are budget-minded and don't have a lot of money to spend, say you're in high school or you're in college. This is probably a decent GPU to go with for those of you without, all the money in the world. An $80 GPU, and if you also have, say, an old HP computer or a Dell computer, all you'll have to do is pick up a decent, 430 watt power supply, 500 watt power supply, pick up this GPU, and boom, you got a gaming rig going right there. This is a GPU you can easily put in one of those pre-built PCs, and all you're gonna have to do is upgrade the power supply. In some cases, you won't even have to upgrade the power supply. Also, with this GPU, you get 2 free games from the Never Settle bundle, the Space Edition. You can get a couple decent games from that, but hey, 2 free games with a $80 GPU, that's a pretty good deal in my book, so I thought this was a good place to start with for those of you that are budget gamers. Number 4, also from MSI, the MSI R9 270X. This is a 2GB video card. Very good video card for about $130. Just like the R7 260, you're going to get a couple free games with it, but they're a little bit better. With the R9 270X, you actually get free copies of Alien Isolation right now. That's the Aliens game that just came out about a month ago, and Star Citizen, which is a game that's been in development for a heck of a long time now and should be coming out in late 2015 or early 2016. That game looks awesome. So 2 really solid games for free with a $130 GPU. This is a really good graphics card for, entry-level PCs, $450, $500 builds that works really well at 1600 by 900 resolution. You can play games at 1080p, but it will, not perform to the best of its abilities at that resolution. But at 1600 by 900, you're going to be able to run the later titles like Witcher 2, Metro Last Light, Battlefield 4 at very good settings and very good frame rates. So this is a very good entry-level GPU that I think a lot of people can get into. This is a good GPU to start out with if you're building one of those common $500 builds. This is really solid. And like I said, 2 really solid games you get for free with a $130 GPU. I mean, those 2 games alone, that's like a $100 value. So if you think about it that way, you're really getting this GPU for $30. So yeah, really good deal for this graphics card. Number 3 on this list, another graphics card from MSI. MSI is just ruling over this list. The MSI GTX 760 2GB video card. This is $180 right now, and right now I think the GTX 760 is one of the best mid-range video cards that you can buy. It's just a really solid GPU if you want to get into gaming at 1080p. It's not going to be able to run everything maxed out 1080p, 60 FPS, but a lot of games like BF4, you're going to be able to, say, put it on ultra settings, turn AA off, and then there you go, you're getting 50 to 60 frames per second, and it's playing like a dream. This is an absolute amazing video card, in my opinion, right now for $180. When this was released, and, $250, $270, I would have stayed away from it, but right now, the price has dropped, and I think this is a perfect entry point for a lot of gamers that are looking to play at 1080p. It's affordable, and it's very performance-friendly at 1080p, so I just thought it was a really good value. You also get $150 of in-game items and a couple free-to-play games if that's your thing. The games are Strife, War Thunder, and Infinite Crisis. I don't play a lot of free-to-play, so I wouldn't know anything about that, but hey, if you're into free-to-plays, there you go. You get $150 worth of in-game cash. Or whatever. I don't know what exactly you get since I've never played those games, but you get the point. You'll probably understand if you have played any of those games. But for $180, I thought the GTX 760 was a really solid route to go with. Number 2, I went with the Gigabyte Radeon R9 280X 3GB video card for $250. Now, this is a GPU that works really well at 1080p, and even at 1440p, it's going to be able to run some titles if you do have a 1440p monitor. It does have that 3GB of video buffer, which really helps it excel at higher resolution. And it works really well at 1080p, though. If you're playing games like Witcher 2, you're going to be able to max that out and get around 60 frames per second with Uber sampling off. Same thing with games like Metro, Battlefield. All those higher end games, you're going to be able to run at max settings at 50 to 60 frames per second. And with this GPU as well, you get free copies of Alien Isolation and Star Citizen. Again, already talked about those. Those look pretty good. And like I said, it's like a $100 value with a $250 GPU. Really solid marketing by AMD and all the partners that they have giving out a lot of free games with their GPUs, which is never a bad thing. Definitely entices you to buy their GPUs over NVIDIA's. So I thought this was a really good value right now. $250, a perfect. This is the perfect 1080p video card, and like I said, it can do gaming at 1440p as well. So I just thought it was a fantastic value for the price right now. Finally, number one, this shouldn't come as a shocker to anyone. I went with the MSI GTX 970. I think I'm going to go with the GTX 970 for the rest of my life until, something better comes out. I know a lot of people are putting their fingers on the R9 290X. What I like about the 970 is it's way more power efficient than the 290X. The performance is relatively similar. The 970 will win out on some games. The R9 290X will win out on some games. But as far as power consumption goes, the GTX 970 wins on that one. So I just think the 970 is really solid because the 970 can run on a 500 watt power supply, which is pretty amazing. Most of the times max TDP is actually around 430 to 450 watts with the 970 and a decent Intel CPU and all that jazz. So I think it's a really good GPU. If you're gaming at 1080p or even 1440p, you're going to be able to max out a lot of the games. At 1080p though, this excels at every game pretty much. Throw anything at it, Mordor, Dragon Age, Far Cry, any games like that, as long as it's a decent port and not AC Unigarbage, it's going to run really well at 1080p. And I game at 1440p, and it works pretty well. I mean, games like Dragon Age, that was an AMD optimized game, so my 970 is only getting around 35 to 40 frames per second maxed out at 1440p, but definitely still playable. So thanks for watching this video, guys. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, comment with your suggestions for future videos. I'm always open to new suggestions. If you want me to change anything, do anything different, let me know in the comments down below. I will talk to you all later. Peace out. Goodbye.